Hi guys, in this video we are going to be learning the basics of Scratch. So let's get started. Okay, so first let's learn what a sprite is. So, what is a sprite, you ask? Well, a sprite is basically the character or object you are coding. So right here, I'm coding sprite 1 or Scratch Cat. And there's lots of different sprites you can choose from if you click choose a sprite. And you can also make your own sprite by hovering over this and clicking paint. And there's so many things you can do with a sprite. Not just making it turn 15 degrees or making it do both at the same time. Because Scratch has so much you can do with just a single sprite. Now let me put Scratch Cat direction back to how it was. Okay, so now let's see the 3 different tabs Scratch has when you are coding and what they can do. Okay, so the first tab Scratch has is code, where basically you do all your coding. So there's looks, there's motions, and there's so many different ones. And you can just pull out the blocks, and you can go to control and you can choose something that goes on top. Like when this happens, then the code underneath happens. So if I press this, Scratch Cat will go to a random position. And there's so much more you can do. And if you want to delete the code, just drag it here. And then there's costumes, which is basically how your sprite looks. So say I wanted Scratch Cat to be purple. I could just use this bucket tool to fill him in purple. And if I wanted to undo it, I could just press this undo button here. And you can also, there's also a paintbrush, a text, circles, lines, and squares. And you see that all appears right here where your sprite is. And if you want to delete it, just hold on this, then press shift, go like this, and then press shift, or you don't have to. You can go like that, and you can press delete, 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 and delete. And you see Scratch Cat has 2 costumes. But say you wanted the Scratch Cat to have another costume. You could just hover over this and click on choose a costume, or you can also go paint, which if you click on it, you can make your own character. There's also this mode called bitmap, which is best for pixel art. So here, I'll show you. See, whenever I go to bitmap, you can see it gets kind of blurry. And if I go back, Scratch Cat isn't blurry because this one is called, Victor. Victor makes it not blurry, but bitmap does. So that's why bitmap is good for pixel art. So now let's move on to the last one, sounds. So sounds is obviously where you can find all your sounds. So right here I have the sound meow. Yeah, so it sounds like that. You can also highlight it and copy it. You can paste, you can copy to new, and you can delete. You can also make it sound different. I click robot. It sounds way different, and I can reverse that. I can reverse how it sounds. Or I can undo what I just did. You can make it faster, slower, louder, softer, or mute it, which means there's no sound. You can make it fade in or fade out. So that's basically what the different tabs are in Scratch. Okay, so now let's learn some simple coding. Okay, so now let's get into basic coding. But before we get into the coding part, we have to get to know the different types of blocks. So, there's motions. Motion is basically any block that is related to movement. Looks is how your sprite looks. Sounds is basically sounds and how loud it is. Events is basically when green flag clicks, so when I click this, any coding underneath has to happen. So when I click green flag, it plays sound meow until done. And then controls is wait 1 second. And if then, if, and you can put something in there if touching maybe, or forever, play sound meow, and then after every meow, wait 1 second. Then sensing is where you have if touching mouse pointer, so it senses the mouse pointer, it senses it's touching green. Operations is kind of hard to explain. It's basically has, say if sound, if here you have sound, if volume it equals 50, then stop all sound or something. And then if touching mouse pointer and touching color green, then this can happen. You would also put those in if thens. And then variables. Variables is very good for making scores and keeping track of numbers. And then my blocks is basically blocks you make. Okay, so now let's get into simple coding. First, let's look at looks. Actually, let's look at events, because you want always to have events. And if you don't have an event, you just have a chunk of code, it won't work. So let's say when this sprite clicked, play sound meow until done. So let's see what happens. Okay, but I also wanted to change color. And then you see this will meow and then it will change colors. Yeah, but I think I wanted to meow and change colors. How do you do that? You say start sound meow. And then I'm just going to change this number to 50. Oops, that's 59. And now let's see what happens. Okay, but I wanted to change back. And to do that, I'm going to put a set color effect to 0. And I'm going to say wait 1 second. And let's see. Actually, I wanted to stay that color. And if this ever happens to you where you want to delete a piece of code, just drag it over here. And now, that's some simple coding. But now I want to make Scratch Cat able to move, because right now, all he does is meow and change color. So, how do I do that? First, let's pull out a when space clicked. And let's duplicate it 1, oopsies, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And you see what I just did there? I just double clicked to duplicate it. And then I just clicked on the backdrop to say clean up blocks. It makes everything more organized. So now let's say this one's going to be up arrow, down arrow, left arrow, and right arrow. So for up, we're not actually going to use move steps, because steps just forward. So what we do is we say change X. Actually, we say change Y. Y is technically the distance from the bottom of the stage to the top of the stage. So you see when I press change Y by 10, it goes up. So let's make that for the up arrow. So whenever I press up, it goes up. Then let's say change Y by 10 for down, but let's make it minus 10. And then let's pull out an X for left and right. X is technically the distance from this side of the stage to this side of the stage. And for whenever you click on it, it goes right. So for left, we're going to put a minus. And now we can move Scratch Cat with the keys. Okay, that's pretty good. And now I think we're kind of getting into a game here. Okay, so now let's learn how to make a basic game. Okay, so I have the sound chomp, and I put the sound start chomp. I also made a variable called fish eaten, and I just put change fish eaten by 1 there, and set fish eaten to 0 when green flag clicked. So now this is what you can do. Whenever you eat the fish, the score increases by 1. Okay, so now I want to make an enemy. For the enemy, I'm just gonna, oopsies, I don't want that. I want a circle. Let's make it this big. Let's make the line 10. Now let's make the color yellow. There we go. There's our ball. This is going to be the enemy that's chasing Scratch Cat. So to get it to trace Scratch Cat, we're going to say point in direction of Scratch Cat. Put that in a forever loop. And then we're going to say move 10 steps. This is when green flag clicked. And then we're going to say wait 1 second. You see, that's too slow. So let's say, whoops, let's stop that. Let's say 0.1. How fast would that be? Still pretty fast, 0.5. Maybe we should stick with 1 second. Oh yeah, and we also have to center it. Whoops, that's not centered anymore. There we go. So now we're going to go to here, and we're going to say, when green flag clicked, forever if touching sprite 1, stop all. So there, now we have a game. But we also have to say for this one, when green flag clicked, go to random position. But we also have to do one more thing. We're going to make this I'm going to make it black, and I'm going to make it say game over. Game over. So it's not just, we don't just stop all. We also say, we're just going to switch backdrop to backdrop, or not switch backdrop. When briefly clicked, switch backdrop to that. We're also going to say broadcast message. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Bye!